B'Shem Hashem Na'aseh v'Natzliach, Shiur Torah, Bruchim Habayim. Thank you very much for coming, learning with us a little bit. We're back here in Aventura. We're doing our series, Era of Mashiach, based on the very famous and extraordinary Sefer by Arav Wasserman, Alav Shalom. Tonight's shiur will be for a refuah shlema for Levana bat Sarah, Rav Ephraim ben Shulamit, Rabbanit Sarah bat Anat, Talia bat Sarah, Yitro ben Avraham, David ben Esriya, Doris bat Jora, Esther bat Zipora, Dvora bat Mercedes, Serach bat Batya, Batya bat Sarah, and also for a Atzlacha Rabbah for Shaul ben Farzane, Oshri ben Doris, Gabi ben Doris, Elad ben Doris, and all of Am Yisrael, especially the ones that are investors in Irgun Be'ezrat Hashem, that care about HaKadosh Baruch Hu and his kids. Now, the last few weeks, Baruch Hashem, the series has gotten a lot of good feedback. People love the topic of Mashiach, and everyone is surprised at the depth of knowledge that Rav Wasserman had before the Holocaust and before today. Because in so many words, you're reading the letter, analyzing it, and it's saved you a lot of time from reading the news. Saves you a lot of time from reading all the tabloids and all of the nonsense that people waste their time doing instead of learning Torah, because that's what the Yetzer Hara wants people to do. He wants you to read the news. He wants you to get an alert notice on your phone or on your computer every 10 seconds for something that happened, even if it's the fourth time they're reporting it for the day or for the hour. And they want you to be nervous. That's in essence what the whole media is based on, is causing people to become anxious and nervous, because that's what gets you to stick to the screen constantly. And that's one of the tools of the Satan. Where do we learn it from? We learn it from Mitzrayim. When Am Yisrael was in Mitzrayim, after Moshe Rabbeinu came, told him that he knew the code, Pakod Yifkod, that he's the Mashiach, he's the one that's going to get them out of there. He went and spoke to Paro. Paro rejected the offer and made the situation much worse for Am Yisrael. After Moshe Rabbeinu went back to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and cried to him, Hashem said, don't worry, you go back now and start giving him the plagues that are going to destroy this civilization and turn it into nothing. And you're going to save your brothers and sisters. So when he came back, second time, came back, he told Am Yisrael, I'm here again. I'm going to get you guys out of here. Don't worry, Hashem's with us. Am Yisrael responds with what? Instead of saying, Baruch Hashem, Ishtabach Shemo, Odu Hashem Ki Tov, what do? He said, Moshe, we're too busy. We're too busy. We don't have time to listen to you right now. We're working. We're working. So the Chachamim say, that's one of the tools of the Satan. He gets you to think that you're working. He gets you to think that you're working on something really, really busy, really, really important, really, really critical, really time sensitive. Yeah, what about your neshama? Yeah, you can wait for that. That can wait for later. 3 o'clock in the morning, maybe, when you're tired and you're half asleep already, or fully asleep in bed and you're dreaming about it. What about during the day? During the day I got to work. What about in the morning? In the morning I got to get to work. When are you going to learn? Maybe I'll listen to shiur on the way to work. Okay, so you drove a half hour to work. You live in New York, you drove an hour to work. In Florida, you drove 4 seconds to work because no one wants to drive here. I don't know why people have cars. Nobody wants to drive. As somebody says, where's your lecture, Rabbi? I said, it's in Aventura. It's far. I said, where do you live? It's Hollywood. You can't drive 14 minutes. Why do you have a car? You should get get like one of those toy cars with like a little battery engine. Like a little kid. Why have a car? But the Yetzer Hara is going to make you think that you're working on something really busy, and one day you drove to work and you listen to the shiur. So I say, oh, what do you listen to? Oh, it's shiur. What did he say? I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? You've been listening to it for 40 minutes. Yeah, but I don't know, I was on the phone, and I got distracted with somebody cut me off, and then on top of that, I don't know, I wasn't really paying attention because I was thinking about how much bills I owe this month, and I don't have the money, and this and that. By the time you listened to an hour, shiur, you pressed play. How much did you absorb? Nothing. Why? When we don't treat the Torah like it's a private message from the King of Kings, it is very, very difficult for the Torah to treat us like we are the children of the King and want to stay with us. So, one of the ways that the Satan convinces us that we should mistreat the Torah is by telling us that there is something else more important, that there's something else more time sensitive. There's something else that takes priority now. But you'll get to the Torah. He doesn't say, no, don't learn Torah. Satan's never going to tell you don't learn Torah. Never. He's going to tell you later. He's never going to tell you don't do a mitzvah. What do you think he's chiloni? No, Satan, he puts on tefillin and everything. He just says, don't do it now. Do it later. When later? Ain't later. Later arrives. No, it's too early already. Later, I said. Later for every mitzvah. Before you know it, 3 days have passed, you forgot about it. You watch a shiur Torah while you're doing a lot of other work. Shiur Torah, hours and hours were invested into making it, and it all got burnt. And that's why it always baffles me when people tell me, do you have any, anytime I go away or to give lectures, or once in a blue moon when I take off and I don't do a lecture, you have anything new? So there's 2,000 lectures on the internet. Yeah, but is there anything new? You listen to all of them? If you did, I want to come to your shiur. I didn't listen to all of them, and I was there. Oh, and people, better yet, they send a message, oh, do you think Rabbi Mizrahi is coming out with anything new anytime soon? He has 10,000 lectures online. You listen to all of them? Yeah, I listened to most of them. Who are you kidding? Who are you kidding? If you listen to all of them, you're still asking this question, stop listening, go somewhere else. Well, something's wrong with you. Reality is, Rabotai, if something is a good shiur, you could listen to it 1,000 times and still get something out of it. But the Yetzer Hara is going to tell you you're busy. Yetzer Hara is going to tell you there's something else more important. Yetzer Hara is going to tell you a lot of different things that make sense for the moment. But if you fall for it, you go into his trap, and Hashem Yishmo. And Rav Wasserman has been trying to warn us against our own Yetzer Hara that's going to be a extra strong Yetzer Hara before the Mashiach arrives. A Yetzer Hara that's going to look religious. A Yetzer Hara that's going to look like he even knows a lot of Torah. A Yetzer Hara that looks like he's your friend. A Yetzer Hara might as well be a family member. A Yetzer Hara that is a family member. A Yetzer Hara that could be your wife or husband. A Yetzer Hara that could even be your rabbi. A Yetzer Hara that's so sophisticated that every single person in this generation will finally understand the sugya of why HaKadosh Baruch Hu told us that the Yetzer Hara has multiple names. What do I care if he has multiple names? What am I calling him? Am I storing his number on my phone? And I just want to know which one to put? Ra, this, that, what do I care? The pshat is, Yetzer Hara has many names. Moshe Rabbeinu called him a certain name. David HaMelech had a name for him. Every one of the greats had a name for him. Even HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself has a name for the Yetzer Hara. Everyone has a name for him. This is why Yetzer Hara is so clever. He comes to you in all different ways. And he looks like he's better this time. He did tshuva this time. He's not going to make you fall this time. That was last time. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. A little kid breaks up. I'm sorry. He doesn't even know why he say I'm sorry, but he just doesn't want to get in trouble. I'm sorry. Yetzer Hara says, I'm sorry. I'm not going to get in trouble again. He does it again. No, you got me in trouble again. Oh, I'm sorry. This time. Last time. I'm never going to tell you to go to the clubs again. Never. Never. Come on, let's do tshuva. Come on, you want to go dancing? Yetzer Hara is going to come to us in so many different ways that if we're not prepared for him, before he comes, we're already trapped. And Rav Wasserman told us that one of the greatest Yetzer Haras that exists in creation, a Yetzer Hara is so great that it is being pinned as the sole proprietor and owner of the problems we have today. A Yetzer Hara is so dangerous that you cannot even tell that he is a Yetzer Hara because of the way he looks, because of the things he says. In fact, you think he's the Yetzer Hara Tov. You think he's your friend. Who are these? The shepherds, the false rabbis. Last week, Rav Wasserman quoted the Navi Yecheskel in chapter 34, who himself quotes Hashem saying that the only reason why Am Yisrael is in a situation that it is in right now, whether it be right now be 2,000 years ago or right now be today, is because of the shepherds, is because of the fake leaders, whether they be government leaders or rabbinical leaders, whether it be your local rabbi that doesn't mind that you drive to shul on Shabbat, or the rabbi that's on YouTube that tells you that there's no such thing as Gehenna, or the rabbi that tells you that, listen, what happened now? Oh, your grandmother forgot her medicine? Yeah, go drive home and bring it for her. Yeah, but Rabbi, if I drive home and then I go bring it, by the time I come back, I'm already driving on Shabbat. Son, pikuach nefesh. Pikuach nefesh, it's a life risk. If you don't bring the medicine for your grandmother, it's a life risk for her. So go get her the medicine and come back. She goes, so Rabbi, I'm allowed to drive on Shabbat for this medicine? 100%. Halakha is Chilul Shabbat. Both have a very serious problem. The young man that drove on Shabbat to get his grandmother's medicine is in serious trouble because he doesn't know he just violated Shabbat. And the Erev Rabbi doesn't know he's going to Gehinnom permanently. Because most likely he taught the same nonsense to a lot of other people. Why is this the case? The grandmother didn't have to stay there. He could have just taken the grandmother back home, where the medicine is, and avoided coming back. Meaning the only reason why you violated Shabbat is because you had to return to this point. Who said you have to return? You and the grandmother go to where the medicine is, stay there. Yeah, but then we're going to miss our vacation. We're going to miss the flight. We're going to miss, Zimbabwe. We're going to miss Honolulu. We're going to miss. For what? Miss. Much better to miss Honolulu than to miss Gan Eden. But the rabbi told him yes. So Baruch Hashem, the kid doesn't have as grave of a consequence as the rabbi, so long as he doesn't ever listen to this rabbi ever again. But if he continues listening to this rabbi, he's in very serious trouble. And the reality is, this type of story is not a fake story. This happened last week. And it happens every week. Where somebody asks their rabbi an halachic question, and the rabbi just tells people to sin like as if it's mitzvah to sin. Many times it's because it serves his own self-interest. And that's what Rav Wasserman said last week, that if it wasn't for these shepherds, all of Am Yisrael would have already done tshuva. Because Am Yisrael likes the emet. When you give Am Yisrael the emet, they drink it like it's purest water in the world. But instead of giving Am Yisrael the emet, he says, instead of giving them these beautiful jewels, they give them rocks. They give them jokes. They give them heresy. So the Navi Yecheskel is being quoted by Rav Wasserman, tells us that the sole owner of the dire situation that Am Yisrael finds itself in today, with a secular mentality, a secular life, whether you're religious or not in many cases, is due to the shepherds themselves. And how come this goes on? Because the shepherd looks more religious than you. So now, we continue with this part of the Ikveta de Meshicha to see what else Rav Wasserman has to tell us about our situation. Rav Wasserman says, the prophecy from Yecheskel in chapter 34, verse 16, he's quoting, also sets forth various types among the flock of sheep, the sheep being Am Yisrael. And he says this sheep has different type of sheep, that the Navi, Yecheskel, is not just calling everybody Seh or Tzon. There's like different types. In one of the verses, in chapter 34, verse 16, he calls them the fat and the goodly, the Shmena ve'achazaka, the sheep that are fat and strong. Who are these fat and strong? Wasserman says, these are the many of our modern day rich people who give their wealth to every undeserving cause and withhold their hand from Torah appointed charity. He says, these fat, these strong, these are the rich people. These are the rich people that are in our generation, that are in our keilot, that are in our communities. Some are running multi-billion-dollar businesses. Some have multi-million-dollar businesses. Some go to shul. Some don't go to shul. Some are religious. Some not so religious. All types. But these rich Jews all have one thing in common. What do? They give a lot of their money to everything except Torah. Steve, the 3-ton elephant in the Bronx, needs a new cage. No problem. Ilui Nishmat, my grandmother, $500,000 for the elephant. Save the butterflies in Guam, $3 million. Ellen DeGenerate wants to save some monkeys in South America, $14 million. The people there don't have food, but let's save the monkeys and the gorillas. If you actually gave the money to the people, they'd be much happier than the monkeys, by the way, because the monkeys can get food from a lot of places. But no, don't feed the people. Feed the monkeys. Ellen DeGenerate, Talmidah Chachama. All types of stupid things people donate money to. The church full of idolatry that got burned down about a year ago. Every Jew was supposed to say a bracha when that happened. Why? You have to thank Hashem for uprooting idolatry from the world. Even more so when that very same place burned 12,000 sets of Gemarot a few hundred years ago in public. But no, what do the Jewish people do? Oh, what a holy place. What a big loss. I can't believe it happened. And one especially stupid woman and her friend that happened to have a few $1 billion in the bank, what do they decide to do? Let's be really Jewish. What are we going to do? We're going to donate $130 million to rebuild it. You're going to say, oh, she must be a secular Jew. She must be a woman that doesn't know anything about Torah. That's why she's building a church. Wrong. If you go to Har Nof in Yerushalayim, some of the Kollel buildings over there were built by her and her husband too. Anything. Just put my name on it. Church, idol worship. Okay, a little Torah too. No problem. No problem. You got money from somebody like that, it's better to burn that money. Why? It's never going to have bracha. If the same money that's feeding Torah is feeding idolatry, better not to get the money. Why? You're never going to have bracha. And many would tell you it's forbidden to even take it. Point being, if you know that that's where it's coming from, non-kosher money, better tell a person, you know what? Take that money, buy yourself a set of tefillin. No, I have tefillin. Okay, buy kippah. No, I have a kippah. Okay, buy yourself maybe a plata for Shabbat, so you could, don't cook on Shabbat, heat the food. No, I have all this stuff, Rabbi. I don't need. Okay, then I'm just trying to tell. I don't want the money. Which point are you getting? Why not, Rabbi? It's not kosher? No. You know how many times a week they try to, or the Satan tries to test me? Somebody says, Rabbi, I have a good friend. He wants to donate money to Be'ezrat Hashem. Okay, Baruch Hashem. No? Why are you telling me this? Why is this a public announcement? Why isn't he just going to Be'ezratHashem.org and donating? Why do I have to get a special text message of His Highness? Oh no, he's in a cash advance business. So what do you think, Rabbi? Automatic response. I don't even have to do it anymore. WhatsApp does it for me. It's like my Yetzer Tov works. No! Keep your money. I don't want stolen money. No, but the other rabbi accepted it. Okay, so give it to the other rabbi. Mabruk, enjoy the money. Yeah, but he was going to donate thousands of dollars. Mabruk, go. I don't want it. I don't want it. Why? You're going to ruin the entire Siyat D'Ishmaya we have. Shtabach Shimolad, every day new Baalei Tshuva. What do we need? If I don't know, I don't know. But if you're going to tell me that's where it's coming from, that business or some other crooked business, don't tell me. Don't give it to us. Do us a favor. Don't give it to us. Why? We don't need it. We don't need that kind of money. We need brachot. Now, unfortunately, many people are very, very money hungry and they care less where it's coming from. Even if the money was made on Shabbat, which halachically you're forbidden from actually getting it. If a Jew worked on Shabbat, he made the money, and he says, Rabbi, here's the money. You're forbidden from taking that money. You're forbidden from benefiting from it. If you know. If you don't know, you don't know. Now, the problem is that many people, when it comes to money, they get very, very antsy. They get very anxious of what to do and how to do, and many times we make mistakes because of money. And Rav Wasserman says, what about the rich people, the ones that are giving the money? He says, these rich people are mentioned by the Prophet. These rich people are mentioned by the Prophet, and he calls them the fat and the strong, because they give money to every undeserving cause, every charity that doesn't actually need the money. We're having our 87th campaign of the year. $1 million in 24 hours times 4. Okay, what do you need the money for? We're going to get some new computers. For $1 million? What are you, Google? Why do you need so many computers? Well, it's not really just for computers, for other stuff too. Oh, so why don't you tell that to people? Just call it operational costs. It's too much. Oh, so you're a liar. We're having a new campaign. What's the campaign? We're going to have a Shabbat day. Okay, everybody has Shabbat every week. Yeah, but we're going to have special shurim on Shabbat. You need $500,000 to have special shurim on Shabbat? All types of weird campaigns. And guess what? People are sending the money like as if the money has mold on it, so they want to get rid of it. This has gone to the point where, I've told you guys before, don't ask me about other people's campaigns, whether to donate or not donate. I cannot recommend anyone. Why? I don't know what anybody else does with their money. I know what I do with the money. I know what Bezrat Hashem does with the money. Everybody else, I have no idea. I'm not saying they're all guilty. I'm not saying they're all innocent. But from my experience, there's a lot of donor fraud going on. A year ago, there was a campaign here in Florida. They raised $2.2 million for some campaign. Entire campaign, waste of money. Everyone that donated the money to this campaign did not even get a half of a mitzvah. Why? The money wasn't needed. Stolen by 3 different rabbis that had the campaign. All the money. I know this for a fact. Campaign just last week. A woman publicizes on one of these websites, my husband is sick. We don't have any food to eat. You know, one of these poor situations. Please donate 30, 40, 50, $1 zillion, whatever it is. People have good hearts. Baruch Hashem, Shtabach Shemo, thank God for Am Yisrael. Donate, donate, donate. No one checks. Donate, donate, donate. Within a matter of 5-6 hours, they raised $20,000. One of my students contacts me, says, Rabbi, do you know these people? I said, no. She goes, but he lives next to you. I said, I don't know this person. Well, just because he lives next to me, I need to know him. She said, no, but check. I said, you check. I have too many things in my life. Okay, Shtabach Shemo. Within less than 5 hours, we got the guy on the phone. The person got the guy on the phone. Who's the guy? The sick husband. Guess what? He's not sick. He's not sick. You know who's sick? The wife. The wife is sick. The wife that's actually, she's sick in her head because she has fake campaigns on a weekly basis. Every week, that's her work, that's her job. Every week she raises $15, $20, $30, $40, $50,000 based on some sick husband story or sick somebody story, and people donate. This happens on a regular basis. So, with that being said, it doesn't mean that every campaign is fake, but if you're going to donate anything more than $20, you have to check. Where is the money going? If you don't know, don't donate. And don't ask me. I find it relatively annoying, to be honest with you, that you're asking me where to donate. Even though people still do it 5 times a day for some reason. I don't know why you think I'm like the Siskel and Ebert of donations. But the point is, you want to donate, it's at your risk. It's at your risk. Why? Because that's what happens today. Money is involved, people do a lot of strange things. Now, Rav Wasserman says that this type of donor fraud, where people donate an immense amount of money to fake causes, is also because of the divine hand. Meaning, HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself is the one that's allowing this thief with the fake campaign to get the money from this person. Why? Because this person doesn't really want to donate to the Torah. He either wants to donate to make his own name big, he wants to donate in order to look better in some way or another, he wants to donate purely for tax purposes. He's not donating for the right reason. So Hashem says, okay, I don't want your money. So you know what? Your money's going to go for toilet paper for this guy's new house that he's buying with the donation. Your money's going to go build this guy another kitchen. Your money's going to go to donate to get this guy another horse. Yeah, but he says he's going to buy another yeshiva with it. Yeah, he said. Don't worry, he said. Where does that come from? Gemara says, Megalgelin zchut al yedei zakai vechova al yedei chayav. The heavenly Beit Din brings merit to someone that is meritorious, and obligation to someone that has obligation. Meaning, if you have merits, you learn Torah, you love the Torah, you honor the Torah, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will make sure that every single penny that you're investing in Torah will end up in the right hands. If you donated a lot of money and then found out that it all went to some Ponzi scheme, do not think that the only Rasha in the picture is the one that stole your money. There's a reason why Hashem did not want your donation. Now some people are not cheated. In fact, most people are not cheated. Most people cheat themselves by donating to save some elephant, donating for some Hanukkah party, donating for some fake marathon of shiurim, where a bunch of rabbis tell everybody everything is great. Just have emunah and make sure to donate, check payable. So Rav Wasserman says these people are called the fat and the strong, the goodly, because they donate to everything except a Torah-appointed charity, meaning a charity that's run by Talmidei Chachamim, a charity that's run by people that actually know what the Torah says and publicize it. They're not afraid to tell the truth. And he says, around the rich walk guards who close the way before the needy. These people are sometimes so rich, they have a bunch of bodyguards and so on. You want their money, you have to talk to one of these people, maybe sometimes take a bribe, give a bribe. And the prophet says about them, the residue of your pasture you tread down with your feet. You drink from the springs of water, and the residue you make filthy. You tread down my sheep with your feet. Meaning that these shepherds that are collecting this money, these fake shepherds, are also collecting it from these rich people that are not exactly very righteous. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu rebukes both of them, and he says, look how much you're taking advantage of my sheep. Not only do you take a big salary of $1 million or $2 million like Dweck and Goldberg for doing a bad job, but on top of it, you take it from my sheep. You take advantage of my sheep. You tell them that everything is okay, that by donating to you, they're going to go to heaven. Or like these campaigns sometimes have, if you donate here, you're guaranteed to never get sick. If you donate here, you're guaranteed to something, something. Anytime you see the word guarantee in anything in life, run away. It's a lie. There's nothing that's guaranteed other than death. I would say taxes, but there's even loopholes to get away with that too. Death is the only guarantee. Anyone that tells you, you do this and you're guaranteed something, problem. Talk about guarantee in this world. Now as far as guaranteed that it's going to be a good merit, it's a mitzvah, Hashem is going to pay attention to your prayers and so on, if you have something to rely on that comes from the only one that can guarantee anything, which is HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself, then you got something there. Then you got something there. But if it's simply a person saying, you do this and you're guaranteed to not get sick, it's ridiculous. You do this and you're guaranteed to find a zivug this year. Complete nonsense. All of these people, I don't know if you guys, maybe you guys have short-term memory, maybe you forgot. Shtabach Shema, Kadosh Baruch Hu gave me some memory. Sometimes I remember things. And there was a bunch of rabbis, if you guys remember, right before Pesach, at least a half a dozen rabbis said, guarantee Mashiach's coming by Pesach. Where are those rabbis? Well, they reappeared after Pesach. No, we didn't mean Pesach. We're just kidding. Just got you. No, we meant guarantee Mashiach's coming, Shavuot. We got another 7 weeks, give him some time. Guarantee is coming, guarantee. The Mashiach is already here. He's just in Tveria. He's just in Tzfat. He's just in Iran. He's just in Honolulu. He's in New York sometimes. He's on vacation. He's all types of people in Hebrew and English and all types of channels tell you Mashiach is here and he's coming and he's going to be here in a week, in a month, like as if they know him personally. Yeah, my rabbi spoke to him. Okay, buddy. You need to go to a mental institution if you believe that. Mental institution. I'll tell you the truth. If the Mashiach ever talked to me, I'm never talking to you guys again. Why? From now on, hey, talk to me. I talk to the Mashiach. Who are you people? Who are you people? I'll talk to the Mashiach. Yeah, his rabbi talked to the Mashiach. Why are you crazy? Guarantees coming in Shavuot. What happened to these guarantees? How come all of the guarantees stopped? All the YouTube videos stopped. All of the little clips on WhatsApp stopped. All the little strange text messages from somebody that had a dream, even though you already died 30 years ago. How come all of that stopped? They're waiting for the next holiday, for the next big thing, for the next big campaign. You see guarantee? Run. Run. There's no guarantee unless it has a signature of HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself. Only one that can guarantee anything in life. So now, HaKadosh Baruch Hu rebukes these rich people, these shepherds that lead Am Yisrael astray. And he says to them that you take advantage of my sheep, you tread down my sheep with your feet, they drink from the dust of your feet. B'siyata Dishmaya, when I read this, I remember the Gemara in Masechet Chagigah. And the Gemara in Masechet Chagigah says that after the Reshaim get destroyed in Gehenom, they get turned into ashes. Where do those ashes go? Where do they put them? In outer space? No. Where do they put them? Under the bottom of the feet of the tzaddikim. In Gan Eden. That's where it is. So Rav Wasserman, what is he telling us? You're able to take advantage of all of my tzon, all of my sheep. Why? Because you're acting like you're tzaddikim and they have to drink from the dust of your feet. As if you're the tzaddikim and they're the reshaim. Listen, if you donate to me, then you're a tzaddik. If you don't donate to me, you're Rasha. Yeah, but Rabbi, keep Shabbat. Rasha. Yeah, but Rabbi, I go to Kollel. No good. You don't give Maaseh. No. You pretend to be tzaddikim. He said, listen, if you want Gan Eden, you have to donate to me. If you want to have good life, you want a zivug, you want this, you want that, you have to give us money. You sell the Torah. And how? By pretending to be tzaddikim. All who consider the attitude of the rich towards the Torah students, who are now the poorest of the poor, will understand the meaning of this prophecy. What will become of the rich? Theirs also will be the lot of the shepherds. As the prophecy says, I will leave in your midst a poor and hapless people. Comes from the Tzefania the prophet, chapter 3, verse 12. So here is one of the scariest statements I know of about the end of times before Mashiach. For anyone that paid attention, the prophet just told us, the prophet Tzefania, quoted by Rav Wasserman, just told us, by the way, what do you think is going to happen to all of those rich people that are donating to save the whale and the elephant and the fake Torah institutions and the churches and the media and the new campaign for Black Lives Matters and BDS and maybe some more protests to cause some havoc? All of this money, there's billions and billions of dollars being taken from their bank accounts and given to all types of waste of life causes. What do you think is going to happen? The prophet says their fortune, their end will be just like the shepherds. And we learn that the shepherds are the enemies of Hashem. Hashem says, I will take a personal revenge against these shepherds that led my tzon, led my sheep astray. Meaning, those people, those fake rabbis, those fake speakers, those politicians, those anti-Semites, those anti-Torah, all of the people, the Erev Rav, if you will, all of those people, Hashem says, these are my personal enemy. And those that donate to them are going to be in the same basket as them. Yeah, but he kept Shabbat, the guy that donated. Yeah, but he enabled the shepherd. You donated to Madison Company. You donated to Goldberg and Company. You donated to all of these fake institutions. You donated to them. You enable them, you're in the same field. You have the same consequence. A person that has money, whether it be an extra $1,000 a month, or an extra $1 million a month, at this moment should start shivering. Why? Who did I donate my money to? Because even though I'm keeping Torah and mitzvot, I keep Shabbat, I keep this, I keep that, I learn, all the Prophet just told me, if I'm donating to the wrong place, I'm doomed. Meaning, I'm going to have a sentence in Gehenna for X amount of time. Depends on how bad is the donation. Why? I was a partner to spiritual crimes against Hashem. This is why we warn you constantly against specific people. People keep telling me, why do you keep picking on menace? Why do you keep picking on all these people? I'm not picking on anybody, first of all. They're grown-ups. I'm not picking on them. What we do is warn people. Why? Because people do not know. And I have no certainty in my head whatsoever that you have watched every single one of my shiurim, that you already know what I already said in the past. So whenever there's an opportunity, I give more warnings. Why? Because it just so happens that Satan is also on YouTube. So what does he do? Every time you watch one of my videos, the first recommended video is not my video. What video? It's one of the enemies. They target my campaign, Yishtabach Shemo. They target my videos. You watch your own Reuven. First recommended video, menace. It's the greatest thing in the world. I think just alone, we probably increased his views by 1 million. Why? The Yetzirah. Yetzirah works hard. So I have to constantly warn you guys about these people, because what happens is people are weak. So they say, listen, I agree that what he said there is bad, but some things he says are good. So they rationalize and they say, since some things are good, can I just listen to some things? I'm not going to donate for him for the bad stuff he did. I'm going to donate for the good stuff he's doing. They don't realize that if you donated a single dollar to any one of these people, you have to do very, very serious tshuva. If you donated a single minute of your life, not money, a minute of your life, watching their videos, attending their shiurim, you have to do tshuva for it. Why? You supported them. You enabled them. Even though it was unintentional, you didn't know, you still have to do tshuva for it. How do we know this? The Bet HaMikdash had a certain korban, certain sacrifice that people that sinned would have to bring to the Bet HaMikdash as a sacrifice. And it was korban chatat. Somebody sinned, violated Shabbat. You have to come to the Bet HaMikdash, bring a nice 2-ton cow. Let's go, yalla, sacrifice it. Sinned, have to spend $25,000 fixing that one sin. So the Chachamim say, wait, but doesn't it say that if he violates Shabbat, it's death penalty? Of course it's death penalty. So how come he's allowed to give a korban? No, he's only allowed to give a korban because the sin was accidental. It wasn't a purposeful sin. If it was on purpose, they'd kill him. There's no korban. There's no korban for purposeful sins. The only reason he's bringing a korban is because it was an accident. He forgot it's Shabbat. He thought it's Tuesday. He forgot it's Yom Tov. He forgot the halakha. He didn't know. All types of things, accident. So for that he's allowed to bring a korban. If it was on purpose, no korban, they kill him. When we support heresy accidentally, HaKadosh Baruch Hu has mercy on us. What does he say? First of all, stop. Second, do tshuva. Do tshuva. So sometimes we support them by watching their videos, sometimes it's buying their products, sometimes it's attending their lectures, sometimes it's actually giving them money, and so on and so forth. So Rav Wasserman warns us over here not to support these people. Anyone that you know speaks the opposite of what Torah says things that like there is no Gehenna, there's no punishment, everyone is going to Gan Eden. There's no, we don't know why the Holocaust happened. Like it's not a punishment. Homosexuality is not an abomination. These people are not at fault. They have a desire. They can't control it. All types of heretical statements like that. Supporting them for a second, you have to do tshuva for it. Why? Because those people are going to be in the same place, those people that support them are going to be in the same place as the people. Meaning, all of the people that continue to watch Manis and his friends and Drol and all of those people, they're going to go in the same place as them. Now, the funny thing is that many people get such love from HaKadosh Baruch Hu that even if they're sinning, HaKadosh Baruch Hu shows them love by ruining their life. How? I had a guy come to me one time and he said, listen, I like your shiurim, but you spoke against my rabbi. I said, who's your rabbi? He says, Drol Kasuto. I said, oh, misken. He said, what do you mean misken? I said, the guy's a heretic. What do you want me to tell you? I said, misken. No. Can you not talk about him? No. If there's something I have to say, I have to say it. So he's like, I'm going to continue listening to shiurim. Little by little, he was listening to shiurim. But one day, I guess I said something against Drol again, and he got upset. He stopped listening. A year later, he comes back. Almost a year, 11 months later, something like that. Comes back. He said, Rabbi, you were right. I said, well, I don't know what I said, but Baruch Hashem, thank you for, I was right. What was I right about? He goes, you ruined my life. I said, what, Drol ruined your life? How did you know? He said, he told me to marry this girl, even though she wasn't religious, because she said she'll become religious. So I married her. And then he told me to divorce her. And then he told me to marry her. And then he told me that we could violate Shabbat together. Pretty much everything he said on the thing that you warned us about, he did everything. He told me, yeah, the girl's not ready to be religious, so why don't you violate Shabbat with her together? Take her to the beach. She doesn't want to be modest? No, come on, you met her that way. It's not our fault. All types of things. Before you know it, my life was in shambles. I'm divorced now. Now I thought, okay, this happens to me, one-time story, this, that. A month and a half ago, young lady comes to me, tells me that her marriage is in shambles. Her marriage is in shambles. Why? Husband doesn't want to come home. Just doesn't want to come home. Why not? Why does he want to come home? Says, I don't know, he's just hanging out with his friends all the time, smoking pot, doing all types of things, watching sports, and he says he's bored to see me at home. So he just wants to hang out with his friends, and he'll come back in a week or 2 or 3 or 4. I said, is he religious? She goes, well, kinda. I'm not really sure what you call religious, but he says he is. I said, who's his rabbi? He says, you ever heard of Manis? I said, yeah. You ever hear of Drol? Yeah, both of them are his rabbis. He has 2 rabbis. Really religious. Ishtabach Shemolad. And these stories are like a domino effect. They keep happening. And as sad as I get hearing these stories, and I cry with some of these people, a little bit inside, I'm happy it's happening. Why? It shows me that HaKadosh Baruch Hu still loves these people. Because he's ruining their life. If he didn't love them, he'd let them do whatever they want, and nothing goes wrong. Happily married, everything is so good, even though they're heretics against Hashem, even though they're listening to Drol that says go smoke marijuana, even though they listen to Manis that says that God needs you, all types of heretical thoughts. So, what's the problem? So what does the Kadosh Baruch Hu do? He loves them. See, what he's doing? He ruins their life. The same advice they listened to ruined their life, caused a divorce, caused marriage to go into pretty much into a cave you don't want to enter, and their whole life goes into shambles, and they know it's due to the advice of these gurus. Hashem loves them. Hashem has given them another chance. Sometimes the Kadosh Baruch Hu will take a person's money in order to make him realize that he doesn't know how to use it. Sometimes a person is going to take away something that's very precious to you because you didn't value it enough, or the right way, or you overvalued it. The point is that sometimes the Kadosh Baruch Hu will bring havoc to a person's life because he loves them. If he didn't, it means he's giving up on them. So all of these people that have some money are being warned over here about all of the things that they're donating their money to. Now the Gemara in Masechet Sanhedrin, page 98, gives us some prophecies of the havoc that will happen before Mashiach comes. Says, En ben David ba, Mashiach is not going to come, the son of David, until the petty government has ceased from Israel. The government, the heretical government, has to go down, meaning there has to be some type of revolution. In order to take down the government, the Israeli government specifically, in order for Mashiach to come. Meaning that all of the people that are worried about the elections and all the political problems that are happening in Israel, these are actually signs of Mashiach. Not that I know if he's coming next week or next month or next year, but needless to say, all of the political issues that you have in the world today, whether it be in America or Israel or other places where there are many Jews, these are in essence preparations for that day. En ben David ba, ad sheichlu gasei haruach miYisrael. The son of David, the Mashiach, will not come until the arrogant are eliminated from Israel. Who are these arrogant? There are certain types of people that do not know how to control their desire. And they're so proud of their immorality, they call themselves proud. And they have a symbol of a keshet, of a, what's a keshet? Rainbow. Thank you. Now, these people that have these gay parades and homosexual parades, they want to make sure that you know about their filth, even though you don't even know them. Even though you don't even care about them. Even though you don't even care about what they do. But they want to make sure that you know. And they have all types of parades. They're having, this month is their filth month, Sodom and Gomorrah. They're having all types of parades in Israel and around the world. They want the whole world to know that they're violating things against Hashem on a regular basis, but they're proud of it. So, the prophet here is saying that Mashiach is not going to come until all of this filth is eliminated at some point. Bezrat Hashem soon. Now, interestingly enough, these people, they picked the rainbow because they like colors. They want to pretend like they're girls. They don't realize that even picking that symbol as the representation of homosexuality and the filth of it is actually a symbol of what Hashem is going to do to them. How do we know? Parashat Noach. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, I'm going to destroy the world. Why? Because there was all of this homosexuality in the world. When the Zohar Kadosh says, when they made homosexual marriage legal, at the time of Noach, HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, that's it. I've had it. I'm destroying the whole world. Homosexuality existed for a long time, but Hashem let the world continue. Homosexuality was running so rampant, even the animals were doing things against their nature. Hashem let the world go. Continue, go. But the second they celebrated it, to the extent where it became legal, where they had a chuppah and kiddushin for two guys or two girls, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, that's it, finished. I'm destroying the world. The symbol of the destruction and that Hashem would destroy the world again if it wasn't for the promise that He made to Noach is the keshet, is the rainbow. Sadly, we're seeing a lot of rainbows lately from my house. I'm sure it's from your house too. I don't think it's just coming to my house. And if you don't know why, it's because it's not only Rainbow Month. It's not only these filth parade month. It's also a month where you have certain Orthodox rabbis, Erev Rav, write articles that they're proud to join a new kehillah of homosexual men as an Orthodox rabbi. Orthodox rabbis giving a wedding to two guys. Orthodox rabbi, Orthodox. Now, the fact that this was done by the Reform and the Conservative and the other apes out there, we don't have a problem with it. Why? It's a different religion. But when someone calls himself Orthodox and yet does things that even idol worshippers don't do, we see we have a problem. How much is spoken against it? Virtually nothing. How do I know? Most of you are enamored by what I just told you, just as if it was a chidush. As if it was a new insight. Unfortunately, it's happening everywhere. There are actual keilot, actual congregations that call themselves Orthodox, where it's comprised of only homosexual men and women. But they call themselves Orthodox because they keep Shabbat. It's the craziest thing in the world. It's like a mass murderer calls himself a good kindergarten teacher because he hasn't killed his student yet. When this is gone, Mashiach is going to come. It's being celebrated, Mashiach's not coming right now. We have to wait. Next, the Gemara Masechet Sanhedrin, page 98a, continues with another prophecy. En ben David ba. The Mashiach is not going to come until the judges and officers cease from Israel. One of the things that brings anger to heaven is when there is fake judgment. Judgment by rabbis or city officials that are against halacha. You should know, as a Jew, you are forbidden from taking another Jew to civil court. It's considered chilul Hashem. If you take another Jew to civil court, you are guilty of chilul Hashem, and your tshuva cannot continue until you die. That's how bad chilul Hashem is. Now, people in the Jewish world take each other to courts on a regular basis, like it's allowed. Just in the last couple of weeks, I witnessed with my own eyes one rabbi, a rabbi, taking another Jew to civil court. The Jew calls his, "You're a rabbi, no? Yeah. You're not allowed to take a Jew to a civil court." No, I'm allowed. Why? Because I'm allowed. Under what present? Oh, some dayan told me I'm allowed. Now, the only way you're allowed to take a Jew to a civil court is if the Bet Din, the Jewish Bet Din, invites him 3 times to come to the Bet Din and he rejects it. Then you get permission from the Bet Din to go to civil court. But if that process didn't happen, there is not a single eter on planet Earth that allows you to take a Jew to a civil court. Unfortunately, today, it's normal. People do it on a regular basis. Why? Either they don't know the halacha or they don't care. And sometimes they're getting the advice from rabbis to go do whatever they want. So the prophecy is, when these fake judges, when these fake dayanim that tell people to go to civil court, when these fake rabbis that do all types of things that are against halacha, when they're gone, Mashiach is going to come. Now, all of these things I just mentioned, he said, wait a minute, isn't all this going to happen after Mashiach is going to come? Lots of stuff is going to happen. Last but not least, Shmuel Amal, En ben David ba, Mashiach is not going to come until the prices of everything are equal. What does it mean, prices of everything are equal? 0. Everything is 0. Everything is worthless. Which means, whether you have $10 million in the bank, or you have $100 million in the bank, or you have $10 million in the bank, When the Mashiach officially comes, everybody's going to have the same bank account. Same value. This is important for people to know when they're investing and spending all of their time following the stock market or the real estate market, or they're so busy making money, less busy learning Torah, they're so worried about having a retirement plan. The reality is that if you want to prepare yourself for Olam Haba or for the time of Mashiach, whichever one comes first, you have to start learning how to use money as a tool, no different than a hammer, and not as a destination. Because so long as you use money as this is your priority in life, you're going to fall into the trap of loving money too much to the extent where you'll start worshiping money, which means you'll start sinning because of money. Your business will become corrupt. Your marriage will be affected. The way you raise your kids will be affected. The way you run your life will be affected, and even the way you serve Hashem by simple prayer or learning will be affected. Needless to say, who you donate to will also be affected. So, the Prophet already told us that anyone that donates to the wrong causes will get punished. But now he tells us that all of those people that are celebrating that they've succeeded in life monetarily should know that not only will they get punished for donating to the wrong places, but they'll actually end up being more poor than the average avrech that was making $1,500 a month. As the prophecy that Zephaniah said will become fulfilled, I will leave in your midst poor and hapless people. The prophet says that when Mashiach comes, there's going to be a certain type of people that are going to be poor and destitute. People in really bad shape. Who are these people? These are the people that used to be rich. In later times, the Rav Wasserman continues, we have witnessed a strange spectacle. In every Jewish community, we meet people who have come together from many places. Years ago, it was otherwise. Every place had its own Jews. There was not to be found in any town a large concentration of Jews from a distant place. He says, in the past, throughout all of the generations, there was tiny little communities. 10 here, 20 there, 40 here. Small communities. There wasn't these big communities that Baruch Hashem we have today. You know, Muncie, Lakewood, different places in Florida, and different places in Baltimore, all these different places around the world, New York, and so on. These huge communities in Israel didn't exist in the past. There was just a few people, minyan and a half, 2 minyanim, that's it. He says, but then something changed right before the Holocaust. Suddenly, there was huge communities of Jewish people built, huge amount of Jewish people concentrated into a certain area. So the question is why? What happened? It says this too was also a prophecy. Prophecy by the Navi Amos in chapter 9, verse number 9, where he says, and I will shake Israel up among the nations as in a sieve. It was a frequent saying of the Chafetz Chaim that the grains fall within the sieve, one near, one far, but not one is left in its original place. This will be the lot of the Jewish people in the times of Mashiach. He says that if you have a sieve, you have to put some seeds in it. Initially, you don't move it. Everything is where it is. Once you start shaking it, if you ever saw your wife make some challah, if she uses seeds or anything like that, you see that that seed that you saw in the middle, no chance it's landing in the middle. By the time you finish, maybe it's left field, right field, you don't see it anymore. So Chafetz Chaim says that's what it's going to be with the Jewish people. They're all going to start one place. They're going to start in America. Maybe they'll go to Germany. Maybe they'll go to Israel. Maybe they'll come back to London. Maybe they'll go to Canada. Maybe they'll go to Baltimore. Maybe they're going to go to Muncie. All types of places. They're going to travel all over the place. Yishtabach Shemo, I'm here in Florida for 6-7 years. I've moved to 5 houses. I'm moving again in the next few weeks. Every year the landlord sells the house. Yishtabach Shemo, HaKadosh Baruch Hu does me a chesed, and he makes us feel the exile. Feel the exile. So, this is what's happening to a lot of Jews. Think that they're retiring in New York, but they end up retiring in Israel. Think they're retiring in Israel, but they end up coming to America in the middle of their life. Think that their whole family will always be in Montreal or in Toronto or whatever other Jewish community that's out there, and at some point in their life they have to move somewhere else. And it's not their last move. So the prophet says that it's going to be so many moves, we're going to feel the exile so much, that you're going to find Jews everywhere. And not a single one of them is going to be where he started. And the Ravad is being quoted here in the Sefer Shila'ei Ediyot, that before the coming of the Mashiach, Jewish families will be scattered in every direction. The parents to one land, and every child to a separate country, until the Mashiach comes, and will bring back the heart of the fathers to the children, and the heart of the children to their fathers. So the Ravad, centuries ago, give us an elaboration of this prophecy. Unlike any other time in history, where pretty much you grew up and died in the same house, you grew up and died right next to your parents, and your wife, and your kids, and the grandkids. Everybody's in the same house, same little community, same little place. There's no one's venturing out. You were born here, you die here. The Chabad says, the time of Mashiach, the fathers and the mothers are going to be in one place, the kids are going to be in another place, and then they're going to switch again, and then they're going to come visit, and then they're going to go again, and then the grandkids are somewhere else, and you think, no, I'm not going to do what my parents did to their parents, I'm not going to do to them. And next thing you know, your wife one's over there, and you go over there, and your husband's over here, and you go over there. Everybody's going to live in different places. You see that now on a regular basis. He says this too is actually a sign of Mashiach, not a sign of the economic expansion. Because for the Jewish people, it's unusual for that to be the case. Now, the question is, why? Why would Hashem have an interest to spread Am Yisrael in every place? I mean, he says that he's going to spread us in the four corners of the world. He says it in Sefer Dvarim, that we're going to be in the four corners of the world, meaning there's going to be Jews everywhere. Some people believe that there's only 20 million Jews in the world. Some even think that there's less, 13.6 million. Truth be told, there's a lot more. There's a lot more that we don't know about. Either because they're not part of modern society, they're in third world countries, or because we don't even know they're Jewish. And sometimes they don't know themselves that they're Jewish. There are certain people in the world that are part of the lost tribes, and they're 100% Jews, but they're not connected to the rest of the Jews in the world. For example, there's in Afghanistan, there's the Pashtuns. There's somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 to 30 million of them. They still keep the traditions of the written Torah. Shchita, slaughtering, same as a Jew. Tarat mishpacha, family purity, same thing as a Jew. We're the only religion that does such a thing. The Arabs don't do it, the Christians don't do it, they're together as often as they want. Jews, only part of the month. They have a lot of things that you see from the written Torah, but many people are not going to call them Jews. You know what they call them? Taliban. That's who they are. Taliban. It's not making fun. That's who they are. Taliban. Many of them are members of the Taliban. Then you have places in Africa. That have literally millions and millions of Jews you've never heard of. I have some students in different parts of Africa that I never knew there was Jews. Now there's obviously a decent sized Jewish community in South Africa, and I have some students over there too, Baruch Hashem, but I'm not talking about that one. I'm talking about Nigeria. Talking about places that I didn't even know there was a Jew ever there, just to even stop by. One time somebody contacted me from there. He said, can you send us some CDs? I said, yeah, it's kind of expensive, but sure, how many do you need? He goes, as many as you can send. I said, how many Jews live over there? I mean, you guys are no high? He goes, no, we're all Jews. So how many Jews live there? He goes, a lot. So I sent him a few thousand CDs, 5,000 CDs, however much it was. And we publicized it. Somebody else calls me. Says, Rabbi, we heard that you gave CDs to this and this community. I said, yeah. He goes, yeah, it's close to us, but we need more CDs. I said, but I just sent 5,000 CDs. He says, Rabbi, there's 100 synagogues in one strip. Your CDs were gone already by the third or fourth synagogue. I said, there's Jews there? What are you talking? Where do these people come from? I spoke to one rabbi over there. He says there's probably 100 million, if not 200 million. Now, if you call the Rabbanut, or you call your local rabbi here or anywhere else, they're going to tell you, no, they're not Jewish. Why? Assimilation, this, that, the other thing. The only we're going to know was Mashiach comes. There is a Bnei Menashe in Manipur, India. You never heard of them. Guess what? They're 100% Jewish. I have a couple of students over there. They know Torah too. Better than most people I know. They read the Puskim. They know Halachot. Some of them teach. Make some nice videos too. But if you look at them, say, these people are not Jewish. Why? Because you think that Jews have a certain look. Wrong. Jews are the only people that do not have a look. We're not black, we're not white. We're not dark, we're not light. We're not tall, we're not short. We're not Indian, we're not American. We're not African, and we're not European. We're Jews. As long as you think you are anything other than a Jew, you're mistaken. People sometimes call us, no, I'm an American Jew. No, my friend, you're a Jew. Nothing American about you. What do you mean? I was born here, my grandfather's here, he played baseball for the Dodgers. Doesn't make a difference. You're a Jew. You're always going to be a Jew. Nothing American about you. You know how you're going to tell? When America decides that they don't want Jews anymore. Who are they going to pick? The people that call themselves American Jews. I tell you, you're not American, you're just a Jew. We've seen it many, many times throughout history. Germany, Spain, Turkey, all types of places. When you're a Jew, you're a Jew. You're not supposed to think of yourself as anything else. That doesn't mean you disrespect the land that you live in. It doesn't mean that you go against it. It doesn't mean that you have all these silly protests that people have. But the point being is that there are many, many Jews, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu has an interest to spread us all over the place. Yet, our mentality is today that everyone is supposed to do Aliyah. How could it be? On one end, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, I'm going to spread the Jews in the four corners of the world. There's not going to be a place that doesn't have Jews. There are Jews in Iran that listen to our shiurim. I don't know how, because their internet is censored, but apparently they like me. There is a group of anti-Semites that are listening to our shiurim right now. They love the shiurim about cash advance. And they said they want to convert to Judaism now. French anti-Semites. But they want to convert to Judaism. Why? Said, if that's what a Jew looks like, I want to be like that. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. But, shtabach shemo. There are literally people in Japan, in Abu Dhabi, in Australia, in the Netherlands, all over America, of course. All types of places you've never heard of. There are people that are Jews and want Torah more than ever right now. But yet, you're constantly going to hear certain speakers and people say, you're supposed to do Aliyah. So which one is right? Hashem says, I'm going to have Jews everywhere. And some people say everybody should do Aliyah. Wait, so hold on a second. If everybody does Aliyah, then how are the Jews going to be spread everywhere. And if the Jews are supposed to be spread everywhere, why should anyone do Aliyah? It's confusing. Because it shows that Hashem has an interest for some people to do Aliyah, and He has an interest for some people to stay abroad. The question is why you're doing what you're doing. Some people are doing Aliyah because they figure that their life is going to be better in Eretz Yisrael. And some of them are right, because Eretz HaKodesh is full of beautiful things. Amazing food, beautiful people, lots of Torah, opportunities to make money, lots of good things. On the other hand, there's also some bad stuff there. One of the leading places of homosexuality promotion, a heretical government, and all types of lefty liberals you wouldn't even want to sit in the same room with. So you have some good, some bad, but needless to say, it's still the Holy Land. Now, if you're moving there because you think it's going to make your life better, you have to define better. If better means you're going to learn more Torah, you're going to be able to make a living as good or better than what you're doing now, or at least sustainable, and you're going to have as good or better marriage as a result of it, Mabruk, go. But if any of those three things are going to suffer, Aliyah is not the right thing for you to do. In fact, there are some tzaddikim that are making yeridah, meaning they're leaving Eretz Yisrael right now. They're working on leaving Eretz Yisrael. Why would someone that's righteous leave Eretz Yisrael now, when every other day there's somebody making a WhatsApp post saying that Rav Kanievsky said this and Rav Kanievsky said that? Rav Kanievsky doesn't talk much, so I don't know how they get him speaking so much. Even saying bracha v'atzlacha he doesn't say anymore. He says bua. Bua is the acronym for bracha v'atzlacha. Like the words blessing and success, he doesn't say anymore. He wants to save his words, so he says bua. That's how careful he is with his words. Learns Torah all day. Kodesh Kodashim, Sarah Torah. You come to him for blessing, he says bua. Some people didn't know what's bua. B'chava atzlacha, they explained it. Why can't he just say b'chava atzlacha? Oh, it's too many words, too many letters. Why should I waste my speech? But yet, every other day there's a new article on some website or a new WhatsApp post that Rav Kanievsky said 57 different things. When? When did you get this? He doesn't say b'chava atzlacha, he says bua. So you see, there's conflict over here. Doesn't make any sense. Even though it's nice to theoretically think that everybody should be in Eretz Yisrael, we see that there is an interest for Hashem to have Jews everywhere. And there are some tzaddikim that are crazy enough to say, we're not only in agreement with what Hashem wants to be in the exile, we're going to the exile ourselves. Why? Because of what the Chafetz Chaim said. See, the Chafetz Chaim said here that the grains, the seeds, they're never going to fall where they started. See, if you have some seeds and you just eat them, you're the only one that benefits out of it. But if you plant them, and you're smart, you're not going to plant them all in one hole. What are you going to do? You're going to throw them in the air. And I'll do it on Shabbat, by the way. Anyway, you're going to throw it in the air, and the seed is going to go here, and there, and there, and there. And what's going to happen with these seeds? Before you know it, all of these seeds are going to be planted. Some of them are not only going to survive, but they're going to prosper and grow many, many more seeds than what you have. And Chafetz Chaim says, that's the goal. Plant the seed and become bigger, better, servant of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Now, what's disappointing is that sometimes you see new Baalei Tshuva that help their own life. They did Tshuva, they keep Shabbat, they keep this, they keep that, all of a sudden they're wearing clothes, Ishtabach Shemo, good. Good for you. It's okay, so when are you going to start sharing the message? Do kiruv, maybe give a lecture, give out some CDs, sponsor, do something. No, I'm moving to Eretz Yisrael, I'm going to go to the yeshiva, I'm going to learn until I die. Now, I can't really call you a rasha, but I can call you selfish. Why? If the guy that saved you, if the girl that saved you thought like you wouldn't be here. If the rabbi that saved you, or the guy that gave you a CD that saved you, or the girl that shared a lecture with you that saved you, if they thought like you, let me go to some cave because I did tshuva, let me put on my dress, let me put on my kisuros, let me put on my suit, let me put on my kippah and go in some cave and just take care of myself and my family. If they thought like you, guess what? You would have never gotten the CD. You would have never gotten the lecture. You would have never gotten the invite. You would have never met the rabbi. You would have never heard the truth. You would still be a behemah still now, not knowing who God is. So you got saved. And you think that's enough? Kol Israel arevim ze lazeh. The fact that you got saved, the fact that you did tshuva, the fact that you converted to Judaism and it's the right one, it's the Orthodox, not some conservative reform or some new style they come up with every week. The fact that you know who HaKadosh Baruch Hu is obligates you even more than ever to do kiruv. Why? Because you owe that to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He sent you a message, you have to share it. When a person thinks, I did tshuva, let me go take care of myself and my family, they're being the most ungrateful person on the planet. And they're not going to win that way. This is why sometimes you're going to have some tzaddikim do crazy things by saying, you know what? I'm going to leave Eretz Israel. Why? I'm going to go to America. What are you going to do in America? Money? No money. I don't care about the money. Job? No, I don't need a job. I'm not going to work. I'm not going to work at corporate America. So why are you coming to America? What reason do you have to come to America? What reason do you have to come to anywhere? Leave Eretz HaKodesh. Why? I want to plant a seed. I want to go there and publicize Torah. There are 6 million Jews in America. There's quite a few in Canada. There's quite a few in England. There's quite a few in different places. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, you know Torah? Go plant some seeds. Give these people their last chance to do tshuva. Give them a chance. Go share the Torah. Don't just stay behind some closed doors, think that you're okay, and therefore everything's okay. If you can't do it because you don't have a speaking ability, no problem. Then do something. Invest your time, your skill, your money, do something to show HaKadosh Baruch Hu gratitude for sending you one of the very few real shepherds that exist. By simply being selfish and saying, no, I'm religious, therefore I can just take care of myself, it's a very, very bad decision. Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu has an interest in having all of these seeds all over the world. Because in the end he's going to bring them all together. But who is he going to bring together? The wicked? No, he's going to bring the righteous. How are they going to become righteous if you're not going to go plant the seed there? How are they going to become righteous if you don't send CDs there? How are they going to become righteous if you don't set up lectures over there? How are they going to become righteous if you don't set up a kehillah with a real rabbi there? How are they going to do it? You're one of the few people that know Torah. Go do something. Now is not the time to go, I'm going to be in a kollel, close myself like Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, 13 years. I'll see you guys in 13 years, or maybe I'll be breathing fire by then, like him. Now is not the time. If you have an ability to do something that's going to support kiruv, whether it be money, skill, speaking, whatever it is, you have to do it. Why? Hashem will sue you if you don't. I gave you a skill, I gave you a certain bank account, I gave you a certain amount of contacts, I gave you tools to help my nation. You didn't, you're therefore going to be like the shepherds, the bad ones. It's the same thing as the rich people. Each one of them will be prosecuted for all the good that Hashem gave them and they used against Hashem. If Hashem gave you a skill, a bank account, a contact, anything that can help Jews come back to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and you don't use it, Hashem will prosecute against you. This is what Rav Wasserman is telling us here, that yes, there are seeds everywhere, but that's on purpose. It's not a punishment. There are Jews everywhere. It's not a punishment. It's intentional. We have a role to get those seats together. Get them all to do tshuva. And he continues saying, another peculiar appearance is the whole of mankind is seized with tension. It would seem that we are living in a thick jungle among enraged beasts of prey. Sounds like he's reading the news of today with all of these protests and vandalism. One country against another, one country, within the country the people are against another, and finally, within the people we're against ourselves. One faction against the other. We see that everywhere in the world there's, while we're trying to help people do tshuva, everyone that you meet is tense, is under pressure. This too is on purpose. We're seeing that no one's happy, except people that are glued to Hashem. Hashem has destroyed everyone's life. Not just in the last 3 months. For decades already. You're never going to find a single person that's happy. Unless he's glued to Hashem. Unless she's glued to Hashem. You meet them. No? So what'd you do with your life? I went, I worked, I made a lot of money, worked for a hedge fund, worked for Pepsi, worked for Google, worked for this, worked for that, made a bunch of money. Okay, great, so you must be happy. No, I'm miserable. Why are you miserable? I'm divorced, my kids are cracked out, my wife hates me, my second wife and the third wife is on the way. I don't have a job, I lost all my money in the stock market, and so on and so forth. Okay, so you think maybe it's a one-off story, the guy made a lot, lost a lot, okay, sounds like Hashem took back his millions. No problem. Next story. No, how'd you do? Well, I fulfilled every single desire that I have. Okay, so how was it? Terrible. What do you mean? Well, I no longer have desires because I've pretty much made myself numb. So I don't want to be with a woman. I don't want to be with a man. I don't want to be with anything. But I know I need to get married. Well, did you go to a psychiatrist? Yeah, the psychiatrist fired me. Okay, great. Next. Another one. Fulfilled every single desire under the moon. Great. So, you got everything you want in life? I got money, I got this, I got girls, I got boys, I got this, Okay, and what happened? I'm sick. How sick? The worst disease. The disease without cure. Shem Yishmor. From what? From fulfilling the desires. One story after another, after another, after another, after another. And you see, the more you get to know people, the more you realize how HaKadosh Baruch Hu loves them by ruining their life. And the only way they have even a small chance of improving their life is when they're put in a position where they realize the only thing they have in the world, and the only thing they ever had in the world, is Hashem that's been waiting for them. We have so many fights among ourselves. The liberals are fighting the religious are fighting the real religious, everyone is fighting among each other. And Rav Wasserman says this is going to be all intentional. Why intentional? Hashem has to put the world in a situation where everyone is going to be completely miserable. With money, without money, with a wife, without a wife, with a husband, without a husband, with kids, without kids. And you see this every single day. People are so miserable, so tense, so stressed out, so depressed. You ask people, why are you depressed? I don't know. Wait, so you're suicidal right now, right? Yes. Why? I don't know. So you want to kill yourself, but you don't even know why? Like, does that make sense to you? No. So why do you do it? I don't know. They don't have an explanation for why they feel what they feel. I'll tell you the answer. Because you don't have enough of Hashem in your life. But you don't believe me. You're going to think there's some other solution. You think that maybe if you made money, it's going to be a solution. You think if you met the love of your life, it's going to be a solution. You think that there's another solution other than Hashem. That's what's going to make you more miserable. And the only way you're going to know it is after you do what I say. In essence, you have to have blind faith. That's going to work. Some people take the chance and they do it and they succeed. Unfortunately, not everybody. But Rav Wasserman says here that We're going to fight against each other. We're going to have all types of people acting like animals. All are ready to tear each other to pieces. And this appearance also was prophesied, was foreseen from the very beginning for the days of the era of Mashiach. As the prophet Zechariah says in chapter 8 verse 10, I will set each man against his fellow. So here we see that the havoc that's happening in the world is all by divine providence. It's all by design. It's not a happenstance. What's happening right now with the COVID-19, now there is a Hashem Yishmor, a relapse of it, or a second round of it. One person that I know that's in the industry says to me that the experts are expecting it to get much worse by October. Hashem Yishmor, I hope they're all wrong. Already we have about 10 million people that were infected by it. Quite a few people died. Quite a few people are scared still. Some people are so scared they don't want to leave their house. An innumerable amount of people have lost their jobs, well over 40 million in America and quite a few around the world. Businesses have not only lost money, businesses have declared outright bankruptcy. I went to a shopping center last week and there's nothing there. The whole shopping center is out of business. I'm not saying they shut down the store and they're waiting for the virus to go away so they come back. No, like there's just signs, out of business. Countless stores, just like the entire shopping center. I think there was one store in a huge, probably something like 200,000-300,000 square feet of space. The whole thing was empty. And then you see others, the whole thing is empty. Empty, 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 one after another. So many people have lost everything in the last few months. Hashem literally made the people in 1 second lose a ton, and some people made a ton. Everyone is tense over it. And the worst part is that it looks like it could come back and get even worse this time around. And if it comes back a second time, it will be worse by default. Because we don't have the same staying power this time around as we did the first time. So anyone that does not have a relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu to the extent where they are glued to Him already, is going to have a very, very difficult time keeping themselves sane. This too is by design. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is putting us in a situation where we're realizing that the only thing we have is Hashem. As the prophet says to us, that there will at the time of Mashiach, there will no longer continue to be haughty on my holy mountain. This is in Sephaniah, chapter 3, verse number 11 and 12. And I will leave in your midst a humble and destitute people, and they will take shelter in the name of Hashem. It says all of these people that are going to lose all of their money, it's going to help a lot of them do tshuva. Why? They're going to realize that that's the only thing they have left, Hashem. Now, many times people think that money can solve their problems. And here we learn that money can actually create sometimes more problems than you are prepared to deal with. That's why the real tzaddikim were always very cautious of money. There's a story that I heard from my Rav of how Rav Shach, alav shalom, saved the yeshiva world with a single decision. Now most people don't even know this story. Needless to say, realize the magnitude of what a simple decision made on the world today that we live in, fulfilling the wisdom we learned from the Gemara that a Chacham is preferable over a Navi. Someone that's a Talmid Chacham is preferable over a prophet. Which to us doesn't make any sense. Why would I prefer somebody that It's Talmid Chacham, Tzaddik. Why would I prefer him over the prophet that speaks to God and God speaks to him back? You would think the opposite. So no. The Talmid Chacham, preferred. This is one of the examples. Rav Shach alav Shalom was an Ish Kodesh, did not waste any time and learned an enormous amount of Torah. He was very vocal about his Da'at Torah, even when that Da'at Torah was against the norm, against the popular, and quite frankly created quite a few wars. But the wars of God. When he thought that Chabad was being misled and the Lubavitcher Rebbe was not teaching things appropriately, he went against them publicly at the height of his life, while he was alive. There was very famous wars between them. So much so that some wicked Chabadniks that don't understand what a Talmid Chacham is, nor do they understand what battle between two giants are. Two giants are. The Lubavitcher Rebbe was a giant, Rav Shach was a giant. You, little peon, cannot go into that war. Let them fight their battle, the giants. They know what they're doing. You, don't say nothing. Sometimes people ask me, what do you think of this rabbi's argument with that rabbi? I said, nothing. I don't think. Why? If I get to their place, then I can think. I'm not in their place. So, but Rav Shach was not scared of wars. Was not scared of anything other than HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And he made a decision instantly, without thinking, more than a half a second, because this was already his mindset, that changed the yeshiva world and actually saved it. While Israel was still being built, right after World War II, and lots of things were happening, with many Zionists that were destroying the Jewish people that were coming there from the exile, from Yemen, from Morocco, from all over the world. The Zionists were anti-Torah, and they did everything possible to destroy the Torah. Baruch Hashem, they never succeeded and will never succeed, but nonetheless they did cause a lot of damage. But at one point, somebody came to Rav Shach and said, Kvod Harav, good news. The Israeli government is proposing to pay 100% of the cost for the yeshivot. Ishtabach Shema. We don't have to worry about money anymore. We can all learn, build the yeshivot, 100% of the cost. It's like public school. Great news, right? If you announce this in America, you're going to start seeing the next day people say Hallel. Hallel. Celebrate. What did Rav Shach do? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Maximum they're allowed to donate or give 30%. Maximum. But Kvod Harav, Gdol Ador is telling us we're not allowed. But why though? Where are we going to get the other 70%? He says, tell the Roshei Yeshivot, the rabbis heading these yeshivot, tell them to go to different countries and collect the money, little by little. But isn't that bitul Torah? Isn't that wasting time? Shouldn't they be learning instead? He says, no, mitzvah. For them to go collect money for the yeshiva. But shouldn't we just take it from the government? I mean, it's easy, we just learn. Absolutely not. Why? There's a few reasons. Number one, if the government donates 100% of the money, that means they're going to also at one point tell you they have an opinion. And they want you to follow 100% of their opinion. And if that means accept one of their heretics as the Rosh Yeshiva, one of their heretical books to be the new book that you study this week, one of their teachings to be the teachings you instill into your institution of Kodesh, they are Bala Me'ah, they're responsible for the 100, they're responsible for the money. They're going to think they're Bala De'ah too, they think they're going to be able to run the show too. Can't do it. Second reason, if we collect all the money from the government, that means we're not going to have a desire to continue talking to the people. We're not going to have a desire to talk to the rich people out of the country, the rich people within the country, the people that are donating. We're not going to continue talking to them. There's no reason anymore, right? and we're not going to continue training them to fulfill the mitzvah of tzedakah. So what's going to happen when the government decides, listen, we've been giving you $1 million, $2 million, $10 million, $100 million a year, and enough's enough, like Paro. Enough's enough. We've had it. We don't want to give it to you anymore. So what we're going to do, we're going to go to the poor people. We're going to go to the rich people, right? Rich people's like, I haven't heard from you in 10 years. I don't even know who you are. You want $10 million from me? Fly a kite. Go get a job. Why do I care about your Torah? I haven't heard from you. It says, when you go out there and you collect money from people, you're doing them a chesed. You're helping them do a mitzvah. But also you're saving the Torah at the same time. And how did this save the yeshiva world? If they would have gotten 100% of the money, not a single yeshiva would be open today. Because what ended up happening is that at some point, a different type of Paro came. A Paro that didn't remember Yosef. A Paro that wanted to go against the yeshivot and say, listen, we're not going to give any more money to the yeshivot. In fact, we're going to fine anyone that doesn't go to work. Avrechim, that were making barely 1,500 shekels, which is about $400 a month, were getting fined 200, 300, 400 shekels, 30% of their salary for the month, because they're Avrechim. Yair Lapid, Yimach Shemo V'Zichro, was doing everything possible to shut down the yeshivot. This election that they had recently, number one message by this Rasha Merusha Avigdor, what? First job, shut down all the yeshivot. Mamash, worse message than Nazi Germany. If we were getting the money from them 100%, we wouldn't have a single yeshiva. Why? Because the people that are running the show now, and have been running the show already for some time, have been dying to close them. And the only thing that's keeping them open is the fact that they don't rely on the government. At least not to that capacity. The reason why it's the opposite in other places, like New York and the rest of the country, is because many of the yeshivot take advantage of the government programs, and they get a large part of their funding from the government. So you get a student to come to your yeshiva, the government's going to give you $8,000. But if he has some type of a physical or mental deficiency, they'll give you even more. Hence the reason why many times new yeshivot have a lot of special ed students. More money. Not because they like the students. Now, again, the students need a place to learn, but you also need people that want to teach. And many times, if they're teaching only because they're going to get a grant because of you, it's not very motivating. But that's also opens a huge door for the Satan. What's the Satan going to do? Government all of a sudden start telling you what to do. So in New York they said, listen, from now on you're going to teach people 7 hours of secular study, which pretty much leaves no room for Torah. Either teach that much or shut down the yeshiva, because you're not going to get the government funding anymore. And this is what's happening. This is why we see a Chacham is better than a Navi. Now, these types of false teachings that the people that are glued to Hashem have been running away from are the reason why we are in the situation that we're in today, where there's so many secular people, the vast majority of Am Yisrael doesn't keep Shabbat, and so on. And one of the greatest Mekubalim in recent generations spoke about this, and it was written in the Kovetz Bnei Tzion, and also in the Responsa Aderet Tiferet, in Chelek Dalet, Siman 69, page 352. Who is this Mekubal? Arav Salman Musafi. His son, Arav Ben Zion Musafi, is one of the Gedolei Ador today. But the father, Arav Salman Musafi, is a very famous Mekubal, giant Chacham, was Kodesh Kodeshim. And he said this: if the Midat Adin, meaning the Satan, will prosecute against Am Yisrael regarding the big sins that we're making as a nation, violating Shabbat, immorality, secular education, non-kosher food, what will we answer him? The answer is that most of the nation are holy. And it's not their desire to do all of these sins, but rather it's due to the leaders and the shepherds and their evil doings that make all of these people make these sins and end up burning their neshamot, burning the neshamot of the children of Israel with their immorality and heretical teachings. The Holy Land has turned into a destruction camp, a holocaust of neshamot, of naive Jews that are coming from the exile. They opened graves for the sake of archaeologists, these heretics. They built pools in every city, the pools of Gehenom, that are full of mixed swimming of boys and girls. How many tests are there for one who walks with Hashem? Now there are some of Am Yisrael who are actually doing tshuva, and their merit, because of all of these tests, can be big enough to bring the salvation to the entire nation. So Rav Salma Musafi says that these heretical teachers are the reason why Am Yisrael is so confused. Same exact thing as Rav Wasserman, same exact thing as the Prophet, same exact thing as the Kadosh Baruch Hu himself. False teachings are the root of all evil. He says these false teachings sometimes will come from rabbis, sometimes from politicians, sometimes from self-help gurus, and so on and so forth. But you should know, these types of teachings are the reason why you have all of these pools and all of these communities, and they tell you it's okay for boys and girls to swim together, or they have these camps of boys and girls, and these so-called Jewish schools of boys and girls learning together. All of this stuff, what Rav Salma Musafi calls it, the pools of Gehenom. Why? Because that's what those people are going to end up if they don't do tshuva. He says, such are the tests of somebody trying to stay with Hashem with all of these tests. And when is this? This is 60 years ago. Relative to today, it was like Gan Eden back then. Much better than today. Much more religious than today. Yet he says, it's so hard for people to be religious. And the ones that end up winning this battle, standing with Hashem, he says they have such great merit that just their merit alone, those few that are doing tshuva in his time, are enough merit to get salvation for the whole people. The point being, Rabotai, is that we see that this teaching is repeated over and over again about how a person has to be careful of who he learns from, who he contributes to, who he is associated with, because no one is going to be able to help you in heaven. Once you're there, you're there. Now, all of us have made some mistakes, and sometimes we continue to repeat them. But that's why the same prophet Yechezkel teaches us that let not your past evil be a stumbling block of your future. The sins of our past should not be a stumbling block of our future. He tells us that because you messed up in the past, it doesn't mean that you should stay that way. So first things first, do tshuva yourself. But that doesn't fix the past, it just fixes the future. So then he continues and he tells us to bring somebody with us, because we're going to be able to use them as the one that's going to fix our past. Helping Am Yisrael do tshuva is the only free lunch. Because anyone can do it. If you have the ability to speak and you have Torah knowledge and you have a rabbi you listen to, you should do it. Don't ask. You should do it. Ask your rabbi says it's okay, go for it. If you have the knowledge, you have the personality for it and the skills, go for it. You don't have that yet, get there and you'll be able to do it. But what, should you do nothing in the meantime? No, you should still do kiruv in the meantime. With whatever skills you can use now, whatever tools you have now. Don't say, listen, I'll do a lot more down the road once I'm this and that. No, whatever you have now, use it now. Because if you start taking care of Hashem's other children, you're not only helping yourself by increasing your mitzvot and so on, but you're also showing Hashem himself that you love him. Because you care enough about his kids, even if you don't know them, even if you don't have any type of benefit from it. Some people you can help do tshuva. In fact, most people you can help do tshuva are people you don't know, and you're never gonna know. But if you want to help them do tshuva, you'll be able. Hashem is going to help you do it. The key is to know that this is our ticket to fix our past and also bring all of these seeds, all of these people that are all over the world to the right place when the time comes. It's not just about making a physical aliyah. It's making a spiritual aliyah like we talked about a couple of weeks ago. We have to help ourselves, we have to help our communities. And when a person takes all of this into account, takes all of it into consideration, he realizes what kind of opportunity he has. On the other hand, if a person doesn't take advantage of it, don't be surprised if the tables turn and you lose your own desire to be observant altogether. Where do we see it? Parashat Shavua. Parashat Korach. Parashat Korach, we see that Korach starts with a plan. Korach, so people don't misunderstand, Korach was at some point a tzaddik. Now yes, he's in Gehenom right now. But before today, before this parasha, he was guaranteed Gan Eden. He was a big tzaddik, he was a prophet. And he saw through his prophecy that his grandson was going to be Shmuel HaNavi. That the Gemara says Shmuel is like Moshe and Aaron together. So if my grandson is Shmuel, obviously I'm somebody. And if I could see that before it happened, I'm definitely somebody. And if that wasn't enough, Korach brought some friends. Datan, Aviram, and then 250 Nesiei Edah. 250 of the biggest rabbis in the world at that time. The biggest rabbis. The only ones that weren't in that list is Moshe Rabbeinu and Aaron HaKohen. Everyone else was giants. And what did we learn in this Parashat Korach? We learned that he went and argued with Moshe Rabbeinu. He wanted to be the leader. HaKadosh Baruch Hu opened up the ground. Vayirdu Chaim She'ola. Opened up the ground and swallowed Korach. All of his followers died. 250 of the biggest rabbis in the world died in an instant. Korach, a prophet, died in an instant. Until this day he's screaming in Gehenom that Hashem is Emet, the Torah is Emet, and Moshe is Emet. Until this day. He's suffering. How many mistakes did he make? One. One mistake. These rabbis, big rabbis, how many mistakes they made? One mistake. One mistake. How do we know it's one mistake? Because everybody else that made a mistake in the last few weeks, Hashem killed all of them. So we have here people that were tzaddikim. Tzaddikim. Until now. One mistake, Hashem killed all of them and they're all in Gehenom. How could such a thing happen? The Gemara says, how did Korach convince 250 of the biggest rabbis in the world to be on his team? Gemara says, Korach was very rich. The richest man in the world. He found one of the treasures, one of the hidden treasures of Yosef HaTzadik. That was a third of all of the wealth of Egypt in total. Meaning, he by himself had more money than all of Am Yisrael put together. He had 70 camels just to hold the keys to his safes. An unimaginable wealth. Unimaginable. And Korach liked to give some to the Torah. What do you have, yeshiva? Here you go, another $1 million. What do you have, a kollel? $2 million. What do you have, kiruv organization? What are you saying? Everybody's going to Gan Eden? $5 million. Put out tefillin on people? $10 million. Promote reform? $100 million. Whatever, give money. He was writing checks. So he thought that if he writing checks, he could tell the rabbis what to do also. So one day he came to the rabbis and he told them what to do. He's like, rabbis, listen, I want to be president. Yeah, but Moshe is the president. Yeah, exactly. I want to be president. What are the rabbis going to do? Gemara says the rabbis said, you know what, Korach? Of course you're right. You are. You should be the right. You are. I don't even know why you're not the president already. You're such a tzaddik. Look how many yeshivot you opened. Look how much money you donated. What did Moshe Rabbeinu do for us? You're going to be president. I'm going to see to it. You're going to be president. A little bit of money, everybody goes to Gehinnom. The rabbis and the donor. Why? The donor donated to the wrong rabbis, and the rabbis decided to be wrong. Decided to go with their own opinion, their own desires, because of a little bit of money. So here we see that money is a fantastic tool that can either get you to Gan Eden or to Gehinnom. Either way, it's a fantastic tool. If a person uses their money in the right way, you could take $100, $1,000, $10,000, $10 million, whatever amount of money HaKadosh Baruch Hu blessed you with, and take that and say, I'm going to invest to get Jewish people to do tshuva. Why? Because that's the whole plan. That's what we're all waiting for. That's what every prophet said needs to happen in order for Hashem to bring Mashiach. I'm going to see to it that it's going to be expedited. How? I want to be a partner. Person does this, or another person says, listen, I'm going to make pretend kiruv. What's that? Oh, we're going to do kiruv parties where everybody goes to Israel and there's going to be boys and girls making a bunch of sins. Pretend kiruv. Not what the Torah says, what the community says. So here we see, one's Gan Eden, one's not so much. And a person has to make that difficult decision. The reason why it's difficult is because the wrong decision looks much sweeter. The wrong decision looks much more fun. The wrong decision looks like it's the right decision. The wrong decision looks delicious. And that's why the Gemara in Masechet Menachot, Rabban Gamliel says a person should never say, I don't like to wear shatnez. I don't like to eat pig. Because you're a liar, you do. You should say, I can't wear shatnez. I can't eat pig. Why? Not because I don't like it, but because my Father in heaven said I'm not allowed. Meaning that the sin is always going to be sweet. And the only thing that's going to keep us away from it is the recognition that it is sweet, but it's also forbidden, and it's bad for us. So long as you understand it, you'll be able to overcome it. Denying the sin to yourself, meaning as if it doesn't exist, like pretending there's no iPhones, pretending there's no cars and houses and computers, pretending like you live in some cave is not going to help you deal with the Yetzer Hara. Pretending there's no Reshaim and everybody's a tzaddik is not going to help you. You have to acknowledge that there is bad, there is good, and you have to learn how to deal with these things. You have made mistakes, you have done some good, and you have to act accordingly. The key, Rabotai, is to use the tools that HaKadosh Baruch Hu blessed you with in order to get yourself and other people to Gan Eden. That's the key. But what Rav Wasserman is giving us as a chidush today, that's quite scary when you understand it, is that it's not really just about going to Gan Eden by helping all of these seeds be planted in the right places and helping people do tshuva and helping people get closer to Hashem. It's not just about that. First he tells us, stay away from danger. Stay away from bad places. Stay away from wrong institutions. Why? Because it's not just about going to Gan Eden. It's about avoiding Gehenna. Like Korach made a mistake. How many mistakes? One mistake. The rabbis, in Parashat Korach, how many mistakes? One mistake. One mistake, they're in Gehenna permanently. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai has a machloket on this. He says that Korach eventually is going to come out. When Mashiach comes, we don't know. All we know is he's still there. How many mistakes? One mistake. One bad donation. So Rav Wasserman gives us a scary chidush. It's not just about being worried about the mitzvot you're going to do and the learning and all the good stuff you'll do. That's good, but that shouldn't be your sole focus. It should be part of your focus. The other part, avoiding the bad. Avoiding the bad under all costs. Because if you avoid the bad, by default, you'll be more inclined to do good. If you don't avoid the bad, that bad will ruin whatever good you have anyway. So Be'ezrat Hashem, this new insight will give us some more strength to overcome the obstacles, whether they're political obstacles, social obstacles, religious obstacles, whatever obstacles we have, give us some more strength to get closer and closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, get Am Yisrael much closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, so we can all benefit from what the Gemara says here in Masechet Bava Metzia, page 85, that anyone who teaches the son of an ignorant person Torah merits that even if the Holy One, blessed is He, decrees an evil decree, the Holy One will cancel it on his account. Meaning that as the Pasuk in Jeremiah says, V'im tutzia kar mizolel kepi tiyeh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says that if you help other people do tshuva, even if there's a terrible decree that HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself signed, that's supposed to come to the world, call it coronavirus, call it Great Depression, call it cancer, call it AIDS, whatever you want to call it. Even if there is a bad decree that Hashem already signed off on, this is coming. You, little old you, that sends a few $100s a month for Kiruv, that gives out CDs for free, that shares lectures on the internet, that does whatever he does to help Am Yisrael do tshuva, and you do it on a regular basis, your prayers can actually cancel that decree. You don't have to be a big public speaker with tens of thousands of followers. You just need to care about Am Yisrael so much so that it's part of your life every day. Once you get to that point where helping Am Yisrael do tshuva is part of your life every day, your prayer, even though nobody ever heard of you, no one thinks you're even a tzaddik b'chlal, no one says, oh, I want him to bless me, no one knows who you are, your prayer can change all of the evil decrees. That's how significant it is. So you see here, Rabotai, we have not much of a middle ground. One end, Genom, supporting the evil, supporting the Erev Rav, supporting all of the people that are responsible for all of the suffering we all have. Other end, getting to a point where we're saving all of those people and meriting to be someone that can pray, and Hashem says, you got it. Yiratzon, that all of us take advantage of the opportunity to help Am Yisrael do tshuva, help the world see what HaKadosh Baruch Hu really said in His Torah, in order for them to do tshuva, to return to Hashem, to fulfill the Torah, and Be'ezrat Hashem, bring each and every single one of them closer to Hashem once and for all, so when the salvation comes, everyone is part of it. Baruch Adonai Leolam, Amen ve'amen.